Okay, tonight on Metal Talk, we're here at the Half Moon in Putney. Gives me great pleasure to be in the company of John Coghlan, and John Coghlan's crew tonight are playing here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say be under happier circumstances, but obviously just Christmas Eve, a few days back, we sadly lost Rick Parfitt,
Yeah.
friend and colleague of yours for many years.
Yeah.
And what does it mean tonight to you that seeing tonight's show is sold out?
Well, I must say that it was a terrible shock when I found out Rick had moved on Christmas Eve, and it was a damn shock. And anyway, thinking about this gig, I was absolutely amazed when they said it was sold out, and there's loads of fans. In fact, there's a great fan turned up all the way from Sweden today. He's flown over to play harmonica, Ollie, and then he's flying back tonight. And I think tonight, really, the band and myself have decided tonight is really in the honour of Rick Parfitt, because he was a great friend of mine. And he was, you know, as you know, a great guitarist, great singer, great songwriter, and when he hit that guitar on stage, I would say he's one of the best rhythm guitarists in the world, without a doubt.
And you know, he was more than just a work colleague, he was a friend of yours, good friend of yours. You know, you and your wife went to Marbella a few years back. Yeah,
we got invited over to young Rick Jr.'s wedding. And an interesting thing, because we decided to go for 4 days, and we was there the day before the wedding, and went to the wedding, and Rick came over and he said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, nothing, we can have a tour around." He said, "Well, come round for dinner." And in all the years I knew Rick Parfitt, I never knew he was a great chef.
Ah.
And he cooked us Sunday lunch, along with the family of course, and you know, and I said, "Rick, I didn't know you could do that." He said, "Well, you know," because Rick was Rick, and Rick, I remember Rick really, me and Rick were Range Rover fanatics. We had Range Rovers and stuff. He collected cars, many cars, as I did, and that's how I saw Rick, you know, and I never really realised that he was a chef. He should have been on most chef programs. He could have played guitar as well. Yeah, you know, we got to see a happy side of Rick,
of course.
Because, and also I felt it was very sad because it's Christmas time, and you know, you want to be with family at Christmas. But and also there's a poem I'm reading out tonight from a friend of ours in Holland, Wilbert, and I shall read it out, and it's involving Rick, and it's a smashing poem.
Well, lovely, I look forward to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, using the Spectres with Alan Lancaster, Francis Rossi, you met Rick Minehead in 1967. What's your memories of Rick when you first met him?
Well, we were playing in the rock and roll ballroom as the Spectres, and this guy kept coming over with 2 girls, and it was Rick and Gloria and the other one, I can't remember her name. And we used to watch them a few
The Harrison
times.
twins, isn't it?
That's it, Harrison, that's
Yeah.
right. And we went and see them in the theatre. They were playing in the posh place, in the theatre. We were playing in rock and roll ball. Anyway, our manager at the time, a guy called Putney, said, "You'll get in with the band." Nah, you know, too cabaret. Anyway, we were wrong, and Rick joined, as you know, we played with Rick a few times, and we thought, yeah, he's great. And sure enough, it paid off, and you know, the rest is history.
And well, you know, you talk about, you must remember the happy times. What was your happiest memory of Rick? What puts a smile on your face when you think about him?
Well, Rick would be silly on some flights. I remember we're flying somewhere to a gig somewhere, and he's decided to get all these cigarettes out in the day, I suppose, when you could smoke on planes.
Yeah.
And he put two up, one up each nostril, 2 in his ear, and Frisman just sat there, and the hostess was walking by laughing at him. "Is he all right?" "Yeah, he's always like this, you know." Then Rick was always messing around and doing silly things and dressing up silly, but Rick was Rick, and you know, all I know from Rick was he said, "I just bought a Porsche 911 Targa or whatever it was." Then he said, "I fed up with that, I sold that." He's got a Rolls Royce, he had a fabulous Rolls Royce, got rid of that. Yeah. Then he bought something else, and well, I don't know. And I often said to Rick, you know, all these cars you're selling, you're losing a lot of money. Because, you know, it's like you buy a car, you sell it, either you make a lot of money or you don't. Anyway, so, I remember he had a Singer Gazelle in the early days. I lived in South London, he used to ring up from Woking, pick me up, and we'd go into town, and we'd go spend an hour up at the Chaz Club in Wardour Street, and have a few beers and drive home. I mean, when you think about it, what we used to drink and he'd drive, and he dropped me off in South, up in Norwood where I was living at the time, and dropped me home. Then he'd be back the next day, and we'd go and do a gig. You know, Rick was lovely. Rick would sometimes, like me, I suppose, burn the candle at both ends, but always end up having a good time. You know? But I have fabulous fond memories of Rick Parfitt. He was, without doubt, a great friend. You know, and all the Quo fans are really in tears. And this gig tonight at the Half Moon in Putney, we're going to dedicate this gig to Rick. And you know, I just like to go out thinking that he was a great friend, great songwriter, and singer and everything else. And he was just a lovely, lovely man. I remember his parents, Ron and Neil, and I think it was Ron and Neil, and they were superb and just lovely people. And you know, what more can I say about Rick? You know,
And obviously, you know, you left Status Quo in '81, but 2013 and 14, the Frantic Four gigs.
yeah.
And what did that mean to you? You know, getting back to the classic lineup with Rick. Was it like closure for you in some ways?
Well, it was fine. Francis seemed to think we needed more than 2 weeks rehearsal, but it was him who said, let's have 2 weeks. I would have gladly rehearsed longer, but anyway, done, well, that's gone and done.
Yeah.
But the only difference was we were all sober doing the 13 and 14, so nobody had a drink at all.
Yeah.
And we all sort of agreed on that one. I was fine with it, you know, and, but it was great. And the nicest thing for us was that all the Quo fans sold the concerts out.
Yeah.
And they travelled. I heard a story where some couple came from Australia, and I think they came to spend 2 days or 3 days at Hammersmith, flew back to Australia,
Yeah.
and came back again when we finished the Dublin gig.
Because the amazing thing was, I went to do the Hammersmith gig, and I've been to hundreds and hundreds of gigs at Hammersmith over the last few decades, but I've never known a crowd to be so loud.
Yeah.
Even before you hit the stage, that, you know, blowing the roof off.
Yeah.
It must be quite imposing for you, I imagine.
Well, the strange thing, because we were using in-ear monitoring,
Yeah.
and the second sort of in-ear monitoring was better than the first sort. And the strange thing, you can't really hear the cheering and shouting. So
Oh, right.
no, so it's like there's nothing there, you know. But I must say it was great, and also Dublin was great. I enjoyed that one, and also we filmed that one, and occasionally I watch a DVD.
Oh, so it's electric performances. And the great thing about those Frantic Four gigs, it was quite a hardcore set list. You know, you sort of laid off the singles. It was mainly sort of the album tracks you went for. You know, whose idea was that?
Well, it was my idea, I think, to do April, Spring, Summer Wednesdays and stuff like that, and excuse me, in my chair and stuff like that. But I think we should have done a year.
Yeah, great song. Yeah,
Which
beautiful
we're
song.
doing tonight. We
Brilliant.
put that. Yeah, we always do that. And but then, having said that, you know, there were so many songs that Quo recorded. We'd end up playing for 5 hours, you know, or 6 hours. I mean, with Mount stuff we did record over the years, and I think 4,500 times has got a lot of fans like that one. And I watched it back the other day on DVD, and it was great. I thought.
Also, it was high energy. You know, you all had to up your game in some ways. You know, it was all like you're trying to outdo each other.
It was like the two-handed shuffle. Because actually, a lot of people don't know this. I've heard that before somewhere. That I play drums right-handed, but I'm actually left-handed.
Oh, right.
I'm right-left-handed, but that's why I can do the left-handed shuffle, because I lead with my left hand. So anyway, that was in 4,500 times. But the set list was great. I really enjoyed it, and you know, I'd like to do it again. But
Was any of those songs challenging for you to play?
not really. I suppose they may have been at rehearsals because we hadn't played for a while, but then when you're playing nearly every night, I found it easy, and that's why it always was in the original band anyway. We were playing most nights, so you were quite loose and supple, you know.
I'm so glad you did those gigs, you know, because that was something I thought would never ever happen. You know.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
Yeah.
But what was amazing was that it all sold out so quickly. You know, there were fans everywhere, and it was superb. And I've always said that with a Status Quo party or a JCQ, fan-wise, it's always like going to a damn good party. Everyone has a damn good drink, enjoys themselves. Nobody can really sit down. You know, might do it in my chair, but you know, big fat mama and all that type of stuff, down, paper plane. They're going to get up and play, dance about. You know? Yeah.
And you appeared on Nub TV with Steve Blacknell, great guy. And you mentioned on there that you, Rick Parfitt and Alan Lancaster were going to work on a project next year.
Yeah.
And have you done any work on that before, Rick?
Well, what's happened was Alan Lancaster has wrote some songs, I think along with Rick, although Alan's in Australia and Rick was in Spain. And all I've got to do, as far as I know, there's 2 songs have been written, and I've got to put some drums on it. So I said to Alan Lancaster a week or so ago that we should release these 2 songs and dedicate them to Rick.
Oh, excellent.
You know, I think that would be nice. What was going to be, there was going to be Status Quo PLC, and obviously,
yeah, Parfitt, Lancaster, Coghlan, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was Francis' idea originally.
Oh, well?
Yeah, I think Francis wanted to leave the band. we could go back and join. No, I mean, you know, there was all these ideas floating, but I know Rick, this is really sad, I know Rick wanted to come to join me and Alan Lancaster next October in Minehead at the Quo Convention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Rick said he probably would have come down. So Alan Lancaster is planning to come over because it's Minehead.
Of course, yeah.
And
That's very well, yeah.
And they've it's a vast improvement from the days when we played there in the 60s. It's fabulous now. Yeah. And it really is a great place to play rock music.
I believe you played there before, also recently with the Giants of Rock Festival. Which
Yeah,
held at Minehead, yeah. It is, like you say, it's a fabulous place to play.
It is, and it's all like in one big area where whatever goes on, people just walk around and go and see what bands they want to see. And I think it's a great place, and you know, yeah. So I'm just hoping that we'll Alan will come over and we can do that, and Alan will get up and play with us.
Brilliant, that'd be fabulous.
Yeah.
And what other plans do you have lined up for next year?
Well, we've got quite a few gigs with JCQ, and we've got some in, I think, Germany, Austria, and a few in England, and it's getting better by every day. So we just look forward to meeting lots of Quo fans.
Excellent. John, it's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
And hearing your thoughts on Rick. And any last message for the fans out there?
Well, you know, we just love meeting the fans, and just come and say hello, or come to every JCQ gig they can, and please bring your friends, and we do sell t-shirts as well. You can buy local t-shirts. And come and say hello, and just be friends of the band, because we love meeting our fans.
Excellent. And obviously the set list is full of cracking tunes, so...
Yeah, thank you.
All the best, John. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much. Happy New Year too. Thank you.
Cheers, John.